Hello, I'm Joseph Coehlo, and this is my latest book, Blow a Kiss, Catch a Kiss, illustrated by Nicola Killen. Inside, you'll find lots of poems to share with little ones, split into 4 different sections: out and about, all about me, how do I feel, and at home. So there are lots of different poems covering all those different subjects and themes. I was inspired to write Blow a Kiss, Catch a Kiss because of my background in theatre and seeing the impact that reading poems aloud can have on young children. I was also struck by the fact that we often share nursery rhymes at bedtimes with young children, but many of them are quite old, and we don't have many nursery rhymes or new poems for young children that deal with things that they are familiar with, like looking at a city, like going on a journey in a car, or riding an elevator, or going shopping and seeing the cans of food on the shelves. So I wanted to write a book full of poems suitable for young children that would be familiar to them, that would represent a world that they recognise. And that's how Blow a Kiss, Catch a Kiss came about. One of my favourite poems in Blow a Kiss, Catch a Kiss is this one called Collecting. Because when I was a kid, I collected everything. I collected phone cards. These were things that we had to use phone boxes out on the streets back in the day. I would collect key rings and badges and erasers that I kept in a big chocolate box. And I've noticed that kids quite like collecting things. So I wrote a whole poem called Collecting, and I'm going to read it to you now. It goes like this. I like to keep things and put them in my pockets. Tiny things, little things, I put them in my pockets. A tiny little twig, a little toy rocket, a small green leaf, I put them in my pockets. I like to collect things and put them in a box. Lovely things, jubbly things, I put them in a box. The depth of the sky, the height of my block, the width of the trees, I put them in a box. I like to gather things and put them on a shelf. Sticky things, icky things, I put them on a shelf. A dollop of troll slime, some earwax from an elf. A giant's giant bogey, I put them on a shelf. My tips for sharing poems from Blow a Kiss, Catch a Kiss with small children would be to make sure you use lots of actions. I've designed these poems to work alongside action, so getting the kids to put their arms out, to play with their hands, to make silly faces as part of the poem. Also, don't underestimate the power of repetition. You can repeat a poem once, twice, 3 times. Each time you repeat it, you allow the child to get familiar with the words, with the rhythm, with the rhyme of the poem, and allow them to have space to make it their own, for them to join in, for them to create their own actions. That can be a wonderful way too of getting kids involved. Ask them what actions they want to do for different parts of the poem and get them creating a poem that is all their own. When I was growing up, I remember very clearly a substitute teacher reading to my class Alan Allberg's Please Mrs. Butler. It was a beautiful collection of poems, and I remember looking forward to the new poem that would be read each morning in our classroom. Those poems have stayed with me, and I very much hope that the poems in Blow a Kiss, Catch a Kiss will stay with you too. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about Blow a Kiss, Catch a Kiss, illustrated by Nicola Killen, and I hope you get to share some of these poems with some little people in your life. Bye-bye.